Yo, what's up, party people? It's your boy Señor Gigio. I don't give a fuck right now. I'm just chilling, doing my thing. Really, really just wanted to hop on here, man. I'm just having a little moment with myself and just appreciating things. One thing specifically I want to share with you guys. This is from my life, that I chose, for myself to go forward and do what I love to do on my terms and on my conditions. And that is the path of music. This is where it all started out right here, okay? If it wasn't for physical music, I wouldn't be making music. I probably really wouldn't be making music, to be honest. I mean, maybe, but I don't know, man. I mean, it's important. It's important. That's how I started. Okay, that's where the love of music came in for me, was the art of albums, the art of listening to an album, the art of being able to hold an album. And I'm from, okay, look, I'm from I grew up in the 90s. So I had a few tape cassettes. I had some tape cassettes. I had a couple of my parents' vinyls. They weren't really vinyl collectors or anything like that. I think they were trying to always kind of be on the cutting edge of technology, so they had their own extensive CD collection of a lot of whatever they were into, old school, uh, old school, basically old school soul music, R&B music, salsa, and merengue, and Latino music. And then for me, uh, I loved Michael Jackson. That was a big one. But anyways, the to be able to hold a CD and hold an album, look at it, go through the cover, go through the little booklet, um, read the lyrics, all that kind of stuff, it definitely impacted me. It's a form of media. It's a form of, you know, being able to have something to show for your work. It's like taking an idea out of your brain and making it a tangible reality. So I'm still about CDs. That's how I started doing this. So in high school, that was actually one thing that was distinguishable for me. That's what made me kind of like stand out amongst my peers who were also rappers in high school, was that yeah, I rapped around campus, and yeah, I freestyled and battled and hopped in ciphers and stuff like that, but I went the extra mile in recording my own shit and burning it onto CDs and basically presenting it as an album, like figuring out how to put cover art on it and cover art put art on the CD itself, and then sell it around campus. That's how I really made a reputation for myself, and it's something I've been doing that ever since I was a freshman in high school. And what's funny is like I never the objective of it for me wasn't to make money. But at the time I made money, but I didn't care about that shit, whatever. It just was like a natural instinct of like, yeah, duh, you're just gonna sell it. That's what you're gonna do. So I made money, you know. I made enough money to for whatever I spent it on as a dumb teenager. If it was some fucking Carl's Jr. or going to the movies or whatever pointless shit that made life interesting and fun. Um, but that's how I distinguish myself as as a rapper and as an artist early on my hip hop journey, and I took great pride in that. Back then too. I was very boastful about it. In my realm of hip hop. And all amongst all the cats, I was very boastful to be like, but you ain't got an album though. Uh, you ain't got an album though. That's you see, I got an album. I don't just have a reputation of being a rapper and somebody that just will rap in your face. I actually can sell it and back it up. So that was something that I instinctively picked up on as a kid, as a teenager in Fairfield, California. And mind you, I want to give more context to it too, because it might not seem like that was such a great leap, but it depends where you're from, and it depends on your era too. So Fairfield is it's outside of it's not like really really super duper bay. It's bay but not really. So it's not like the culture of what I imagine kids growing up directly in Vallejo or in Richmond or in Oakland, San Francisco at the time would have experienced, which I believe was very much hustle and bustle, a lot of independent minded like rappers just really taking to the streets and grinding. That wasn't so tangible back then. It wasn't like, at least for me in Fairfield, it wasn't like it wasn't in your face like that. So it's something that I instinctively picked up on. And then basically down the line, uh after graduating high school and just figuring out which way I'm gonna go in my life. I'm a student of the game. I decided like, okay, well, education ain't the route for me, so I'm gonna be a student of hip hop. I'm gonna be a student of music. So that's where I'm gonna put um my education into. And then you start drawing the lines and figuring out like, oh, okay, there's a whole lineage and tradition of like real independent rap right here in my backyard. And I feel a connection to it. And maybe some of the things might have seeped through um uh into my consciousness, made sense a little bit, like, oh, okay. Because here's the thing too, is like growing up in Fairfield in high school, uh it 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 wasn't until the hyphy movement hit that things started to become very bay centric and very like super duper bay awareness. So kids around me, maybe some little bay things would slip in here and there, some of the local music would slip in, but things were still very much like whatever's popular. So that's how I remember it. And but once the hyphy movement hit, which would be 2004, 2005, uh then it was like a shift. It was like cats out the bag. You got Mac Dre was more mainstream, at least locally. uh then he died, RIP. But all of those things kind of built up. Then going into E40, Tell Me When to Go, Federation, Hyphy, Keek the Sneak. Then it started to blow up. Then everybody in 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 um in Fairfield was very Bay centric. It was a more like real like awareness. Um but up until that time, that was my senior year in high school, like it wasn't really like it wasn't really all the way cemented and solidified. That's how I remember it. But once that hit, then I kind of started figuring it out of like, oh, okay, all these cats did it independent. So there's a whole lineage and tradition. So it's not just um the gangster rappers, the mob rappers, all the hyphy rappers. They did a great job too with the independent, but also on the other side of the underground, backpack, whatever you want to call it, like the real hip hop. They also pushed a hard line with in the independent hustle, and that all has to do with hand to hand selling your own merch, selling your own music. Um, so there's a rich history in the Bay with all of that. So that's kind of like I was already kind of like ahead of the game with that, you know. And to me it just was like the highest esteem. Like it just made all the sense. Like that's my bragging rights, is that I have a CD and an album to sell, and that's how I made my rounds. So anyways, um so like the power of being able to write an album, record it, go through the whole production process and all of that to get to the finish line and have a materialized product in your hand that you could listen to. That was the pinnacle. Like that's everything, you know? So that's always been a drive for me. And that's what's kept me going. And um I think that the power of an album is like, it's like it deserves the respect of a book, yeah, you could go listen to it on the audio or whatever, which is one way of absorbing the information and the material, not to downplay it. And it's great that we have that option. But when you have the actual book in your hand and you sit there and you read it, then it hits harder. And I think it's the same thing when it comes with an album. So yeah, you could go listen to it online, you could listen to it on the streaming, all of that, get all the ads and shit, or you could just listen to it song here, song there. But the real power is in being able to have the physical product and listen to it and experience it. It should be like an experience. So that's kind of been my craft, and that's been constant for me. So, and now CDs and physical music, I think on a whole, is less appreciated. And I mean, I've heard people throughout the years try and suggest that, what's the point, you know? Well, maybe there the point is it doesn't have to be a point, it doesn't have to be a point to do it. It's if you want to do it, you should do it. And maybe the point is that you created a piece of art and you fulfilled it, and you have something to hold and show for it, other than just files that exist in space and sounds that exist in space. You can show that this doesn't just exist in the digital dusty archives of fart and sound. I mean, yeah, now you actually have a piece of something that you could hold on to that commemorates the fact that you made some shit, and that you made some shit that's probably worthy of becoming some shit. So that's what it still is for me. Yeah. So anytime I've made an album that has been with the intention of being able to materialize that album into CD format because that has been the most affordable for me because I'm completely independent. Um, I do it myself. So CDs are a cheaper endeavor versus trying to get it on vinyl. Um, so plus, yeah, I just and it's a little it's so but it's still a great I think it's still a great milestone to just still hey it's if it's on the CD, all the ideas are there because you have it on a disc. The disc has art on it, and then you get the cover art too. So you get the cover art, which I created. I made that in detail. I made the art uh to be physical because I wanted it to be experienced as a CD. Okay, that's how all right. So all the ideas are still there, just like it would be if you had it on vinyl. So, one day maybe I'll get some vinyl done. I'm sure it'll happen eventually. But you know, anyways, so I'm still happy to at the end of the day it's like I got this to show for my work and my time and the fact that I had an idea and I created something. So I created something. So that's what's important. You got to start thinking about things a little bit differently. Because I mean, I'm just saying like you got to think about things a little bit differently as to why we should do something or why pursue something or complete a project, it's about the process. All right. So the process itself is, having the idea and then, executing the idea step by step, taking time, writing the songs, getting everything that you need in line. And, and the last step, in the creative process is finishing it, completing it, and and then you let it go. Then it is what it is, and you keep it moving. So that's what it's about for me. I think that part is undersold, and it's yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's all I wanted to hop on here and share that my love and my intrigue of you know being able to think of having physical art to show for my music, a physical experience, something that materializes, that's been really like a steady motivation and something that pushed me early on to do things differently, to be known and to make a name for myself, to establish myself, to establish my art, and also it gave me goals to reach, to go a little bit further each time. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've been on that. I've been doing that's been the same continuous um kind of like I've been doing that continuously since I was a freshman in high school, pretty much. So each year I had something. I had something. Some years I had multiple things. You go a little bit further each time, basically, and you get better each time. Um, so it can be a practice in of itself, and I think that is that's beautiful. You know, sometimes sometimes it's like sometimes what it is like, yeah, there's a commercial factor to this. There's a commercial factor to this because I sell it and I promote it, and it opens doors for me in this world to be able to do what I love to do. And that's a commercial factor of it, right? But the creative process in of itself is so important, and really that's what I have to show for my life. It's like this has been my life. That's what it's about. It's about my life. It's about growing through life. It's about having something to grow with and to grow through, and being constructive, being productive with my time, being productive with myself, and learning along the way, growing along the way. And the idea here too is that in the creative process, um, is that we should be honest with what we're doing. So, if I have a goal in mind, my goal here, when I set out with this one, for instance, this is called differentia. The goal is differentia, right? So I have a concept in mind, I have a theme in mind, I have a soundscape in mind, I have a mission of things that I want to express in mind. So, then you got to honor those things. And the way you honor it is by being honest with yourself and with your creation through the process. That's where you can put yourself into it, and then also where you can take yourself out of it. You know what I'm saying? When you're using honesty to check the process through. You can be honest about how it felt, how it feels. You do your editing. You go through, you fine tune lyrics. You go back and you think, oh, but maybe I should change the words around because it's not it's it needs to bring the concept home. All of those kinds of things can bring about growth in our personal lives and in our spiritual lives too. So this has been a constant cycle of growth and awareness that I've been able to have since a kid, basically. So I've gone through the I've gotten to work out a lot of the uh the young boy shit. So I got to go through all of that, through this process, because I wanted to be the dopest MC. And I wanted to be the dopest MC, you got to be honest with yourself as you're rocking it. You got to be honest with what you're writing and what you're laying down, how you're sounding, how you're executing it, what you bring to the table. So, you know, that's how I've been growing. And, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Um, Everything else is a blessing. Um, it's great to have the ambition and the desires, and having those ambitions and desires to want to get it out to the world and share with people and sell it and make money, or just have an impact of some kind, and be heard. Those are wonderful, and they can be very powerful things. It could transformative for sure. But at the end of the day, though, it's really like, this is my life and this is what I got to do with my life, and I'm proud of what I do with my life. and this is what I have to show for it. You know what I'm saying? This right here. Like, I got a real album to show for this shit. There's many great artists. There have been many great artists, and people make life their art. It's the art of living. That's what it is. So, yeah, y'all, that's what it is. I got the physical music. Okay, I have physical music available for sale on my website, www.senorgigio.guru, senorgigio.guru. The link is in the bio. I have physical music. Some of the copies I'm running out of. There's a couple things I'm kind of running out of, but there's still a nice selection of things. And right now, kind of where I'm at in my journey with music, in terms of like creation and release and all that kind of stuff. I'll tell you that, like, if you've been tuned in, if you're aware of what I've been doing, I've been on a mean run really for a long time, but I changed my name to Señor Gigio. I own that 2017. So ever since then, I've been on a mean run. 2018, I put out my first album as Señor Gigio, which is Heroes of the Gold Rush, and I've put out like a dozen albums since, and then a bunch of EPs and a bunch of singles. All the albums that I've put out have CDs to go with them. The EPs don't. Maybe one day I'll do something, specifically for a couple of those. We'll see. But I've gotten hella shit done. The last 2 years, I went hard, and I released a project every month. Every month I had something new to show, whether it was a new EP, a new single, new album, whatever, music video. So I'm kind of like winding down. I'm creating new stuff. Between music and art and different things right now, but I'm kind of winding down a little bit. And I'll tell you that I have 2 EPs coming out this year. That's for sure. And then I don't really have anything set in stone for the future, and I kind of like it like that right now, because I've been so busy, and just really wrapped up in my work and in getting all this music done, that I haven't it's just nice not to, I mean, really, that's been what it has. That's also been a factor for me in getting shit done, is that I don't like shit to stagnate. If I'm working on something, I'm very serious about getting it done. So I'm going to get it done, and I'm going to do what it takes to get it done, basically. So it's nice to not be in that space right now, and I'm really just enjoying that. And also, it's given me the opportunity to think outside the box a little bit and create different things, and think of things, reflect also. I get to reflect and look back at all the work that I created and all the stuff I put out there, and that has been that's been really humbling and grounding. So really, that's what it is. And this is also fun for me too, doing this kind of, I see this as creative too, being able to vlog and share my voice and lend my perspective in a way. So that's what it is. So yeah, y'all, make sure you go check out my website if you want to purchase some physical music. And also, you could get it on Bandcamp too. But if you get it on my website, then all the, I get to collect all the money, basically. Bandcamp takes a little cut. But yeah, y'all, on that note, um I want to say that there's a lot of things I've been wanting to share, but I have been busy too. Um, but on that note, I do want to say, and I want to encourage people to be creative. Be creative, have fun. Um, you know, live your life. Whatever it is that you're doing, it's not to tell you to be like me. It's not to tell you to be like me and that you should be uh, that you should be a wild fool and put your nose to the wind and gamble on your music. Um, but it should be that as you live your life, that you are being creative and whatever it is that you do. The opportunity is to live authentically and to be creative and to try and make sense and of what we're experiencing, because we can find ourselves in that. That's how I think we can be active players in our life, is when we're being creative. So I think that is the most important thing, beyond trying to do it for any um, commercial reason. That shouldn't be the only motive for people to be creative, because there's a lot of people who have things in them that they want to express, and um, you know they have different creative crafts that they're interested in exploring. Um, but I think that some people get deterred from doing it because they think to themselves, well, I'm never going to be a professional or whatever. But I don't think that's the point. I think the point is that we get to learn from ourselves, and that we get to tap into our own vibration and to our own authenticity. And when you're living authentically and you're being creative, and you're using your mind in that type of way, it really informs you on how to navigate the other parts of your life. Because that's the other thing too. It's like, yeah, I put a lot into this, right? But this was the practice. This was a small practice. But really, I, it's representative of things that I've conquered in my life, in my personal life. That's the real shit. That's the hard shit. So that's what it is. The creative practice. Have fun. God bless y'all. And yeah, peace.